I think it's working. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the just happened, but it literally made me reset up the entire app. Like, what are you going to be using this app for? Please log in with your YouTube account information. And I don't know what just happened, but everything just blew up. Streamlabs can now access your account. Yeah, no kidding. You is always able to. So, yeah, I don't know how this one's gonna go. Hey, if you guys are still there, appreciate it. That was pretty wild. It all just pooped out on me. So, and then I had to reset it all up. I had to restart my phone twice. So I think that means it's time to stop doing this on my phone. But yeah, all right. So hopefully, I don't even know. When I clicked continue event, it said no event found. So I don't even know if the beginning of this recorded. I don't know what's going on the other side of any of this. I'd have to run downstairs and open up YouTube and check it out. But hey, Plato, is the beginning in there? Like, if you scroll back, do I just pause and then it catches up from right here? I don't even know what's happening, man. Like, or does it say there's... See, it only says like I'm 1 minute 55 seconds into the video, so it's interesting. But what I wanted to do anyways was recap the other ones that we talked about, just to catch us up here, and then we'll get into metal. So structuring metal, it's really important that you have the finesse, okay, because it's metal, right? That's why I use the picture of the blacksmith. Oh, hey, thanks, Plato, I appreciate it. Yeah, I might just skip the recaps here, but at least for metal, so the element here we're gonna be doing is metal. It's gold, silver, all your metals. The organ is lungs, and the sound is a hissing sound. So it's like a snake. So it's and you want your teeth almost touching and your tongue to be like just behind your teeth. It's cool and dry because it is fall. Let's see, bright, shiny white color. Its touch is it's touching. It didn't record any of the beginning. Okay, cool. Wow, thank you, man, for letting me know. Yeah, that was weird. I don't even know why. It was counting down. It was going, and that was wild. They really didn't want me to talk about the metal element today. So I guess I'm like 20 minutes already in. So yeah, I'm sorry, but maybe we'll cut it a little short here. We'll just go until we're done. Yeah, that's funny, man. So the hissing sound, metal, right? Chops wood is melted by fire. So there's the creation and the destruction cycle. If you get involved with the metal element, you find it in the lungs, and it, because we think lungs is air, but it's the relationship to the organ that's in your body, and it's the metal element. Because when you have metal, if you can imagine your like iron lungs, right? Like, you're gonna breathe forever. You're never gonna worry about iron lungs. Yeah. Loud and clear now. Okay. Man, that was weird, bro. So it's where was it here? Bright, shiny white. It's the touch is metal, lungs, right? Sadness and grief. Okay, it's why you cry in your lungs and your breathing and also, I used to be a smoker way back in the day. Okay, back when I was a kid, and you'll notice if you stop smoking for a period of time. For me, it was like school, so it was, a cigarette in the morning, and then, one or two at lunch at the lot, smoker's lot, and then like one or two before I'd get home and have to be at home with mom, so then it was like, so I really wasn't like, it wasn't that heavy, but I would have breaks, and then maybe on the weekends, that's for another time, but, I'd have breaks where, it wasn't like an addictive thing to me. It just never happened to me, but you'll notice, like, I don't know for any smokers out there, but you'll have sadness. because you're putting heaviness onto your lungs, and so there's grief, and it can cause depression and things like this. The counterbalance to that. Hi Tina, woohoo! I know it works. Oh my God, I had to redo everything. I don't know. I talked about it in the beginning. That's pretty crazy. Like I had to reset up the app. I had to reset up, like, what are you using this app for? Weren't you just recording me? Like, I've been using this whole time. I had to re-log in to my, like, my email account, and like, I forgot my password. I had to run to give my password. It was crazy. It like just reset my whole thing. Like, all right, thanks. We'll just be like 20 minutes late. Who cares? Divinely timed, right? Divine timing. So I did recap the other elements with all this information, but I guess we'll have to do it later in another video, because I'm going to be bringing all of these in together. So this is really just to talk about specific ones. Obviously, so I did fire, I did water, talk about metal, and then I'll be putting them all together, right? And so the 5 phases and the 5 elements are your 5 organs, okay, that's in your body, right? There's 5 major: your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, your heart, and then your stomach or spleen, which they're more about spleen. The Western, what's the spleen for? It's not just in your body, Who needs an appendix? No, I mean, yeah, you can live without it, but, it's like, it'd be nice if it was just healthy. Hey, I see purple. Hey, Dina, Jan, how you guys? Thanks for coming. So we're on metal, lungs, hissing sound, and we'll do a quick sound. I wish I would have done them in the other videos, and again, we're going to do way more of all of this as we go, because this is how you heal your body. This is how your body functions like a clock, okay, like the creation cycle I've talked about in the other ones, right? So wood, so where are we on? We're on metal, right? So metal is contained by earth, right? So it's supported, or what is it? Wait, I'm gonna get it wrong, because I'm thinking of fire, melting metal, and that's the destruction cycle. Okay, so they're all. Let's do that later when I'm not just talking about metal. We'll put it all together later. But like water gives birth to wood, and then wood, fire burns wood, so wood supports fire, and then fire supports earth because it forms earth, because it burns it, so it helps to remove dead and this and that, and then the earth. What is it? The earth holds metal. That's what it. Yeah, did I say that? I don't know. And then metal directs water, the flow of water. And then back to water supporting wood. Wood supports fire. Fire supports earth. Blah blah blah. So we're doing metal now. So when you hissing sound, right, and it's contracting, it's sinking, and it's letting go. This is why it's letting go of your grief, because the negative emotion, like I was saying, is, or even not smoking, but like pollution, when you have to breathe heavy, like when you put heaviness on your lungs, it has to come out, and it comes out in forms of like sadness and grief. That's why you cry. It's like, and it's water too, but it's like everything, I don't know. And there's all kinds of reasons. When we get there, you're going to understand that everything works together. Like, the idea of fire is like, okay, so if you're sitting and you're watching a fire, and then, so you're thinking of the attributes, the element of fire. Fire has all of the elements in it too, because when it burns, it creates ash. Ash is earth, right? But then when it goes into the dissolution, it's metal, right? And then it settles and it's metal, and then it's water, because it needs water, and it needs like air and oxygen, in order to breathe, and in order to counterbalance itself. You can so every element. That was a good explanation there. I'll work on that. I'll get like a good one for the next time, once we start talking about how they all intermingle and how they all really work with each other and they support each other. Hey, Mass, Galactica, Starseed, hey. So, where am I here? So, joy, courage, counter to sadness and grief. So, when you're working with the element of metal and you make your hissing sound, your eyes are fierce, right? Oh, and the animal's a white tiger, right? I think that was next. Okay, yeah. So, joy, courage, strength, sustainability. West, face west when you're doing lung work or metal. White tiger, white snow, Venus, which is my jam. And then it's nose and smelling, right? Makes sense. 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is your active cycle. Fall, September 7th to December 7th. And like I said, contracting, sinking, and letting go. And so the properties of it are really embodied in the white tiger. So it's the joy, right? It's the courage, strength, and sustainability. So it's presence within a white tiger. When you make the sound, and we'll do this. So take a moment, center yourself, breathe in. You can do the movement with me, or you can just do the sound. We're sitting down, so typically you do the sound up with your claws, and then you'll want to lean to one side or the other, and then you're exhaling out of your lungs, and you make the hissing sound. But if you're standing up, because it's sinking and letting go, you'll rise with your hands and gather all your chi in your hands, and then you, on your exhale, in your eyes, and you claw, and you and then at the end of it, when you're standing, you bring your arms up to cross, and then you exhale a really loud and sharp ho sound, really loud, and it'll ground it. And yeah, so do that for a second. I want you guys to get used to this, and like I said, I wish I would have done it in the other videos, but breathe in the hissing, or breathe in your chi, right? And imagine your whole body fills with joy, beauty, courage, presence, and you exhale hissing all the grief and sadness. Make that sound if you can, whenever you get a chance, because you can really get into it. And the reason why I guess we're focusing on this sound and we really haven't done the others is probably because with the hissing sound, with lungs are our direct connection to like energy and sort like chi that's outside of us, right? So you can tell instantly your state of being by how your lungs feel, because it's the first organ that gets hit by anything pollution or anything outside of yourself. Hey Sylvie. So breathe in again. Remember joy, courage, strength, sustainability, and exhale your sadness and grief. Think of a white tiger. Make your claws. Okay, smelling, right? Presence on your exhale. And if you're around, you can do the whole at the end, really loud, and focus with your eyes. Okay, so breathe in. Do this one. And then just like inhale and then bring it down. You should be able to feel the difference. You'll probably just initially feel it in your brain because of your increase in oxygen. This is why sinking, I kind of just like the sinking movement. I don't typically do them sitting down, but you can always do these exercises sitting down if you really need to detoxify your body. Detoxifying is key because well, you all know, right? If it's not detoxified, it's all gunked up and bunched up. And this is the whole premise around 5 phases in, traditional Chinese medicine, Qigong, whatever, is the idea that all of these things that have all of these properties, simple as the elements, from all the elements comes all things in life, right? Because everything's just energy, right? So if any piece of your cycles, your rotations, your anything is off, it's gonna filter into the rest of them. And by learning the creation cycle and then the control cycle, let's call it control cycle, not just destructive cycle, because you don't want to destroy anything. You want to balance it out. So like if you're on fire and you're just burning everything down, you need water. You need to make some chew sounds, right? You need to flow, right? Because you're just burning straight ahead. So you need to like balance it out with the flow. Or you can exhale the heat, right? But understanding what's going on, because if you're inhaling and you're exhaling heat and you just keep working with heat, it's like the same, whatever you think about comes out more. So you have to balance it. You have to know it's counterbalance. Excuse me. And the counterbalance, right? with any breath, it's important to understand the breath too. There's a lot of things you have to integrate. So when you're breathing and you're inhaling, your body's expanding, but the breath, the chi flow, it's coming in, and it's like, so there's outward expansion from your body because of the inflow of energy, right? Makes sense. And there's all this kind of stuff too, like reverse breathing, like with your belly, where sometimes like you breathe in and you stick your belly out is like normal, and then if you breathe in and you suck your belly in at the same time. So it's all different ways of compacting your chi into, which is typically the lower dantian, which I've mentioned about how the Western and Eastern are like, yin and yang, and they're more water-based, and they're more like bringing it down and grounding it into your actual physical body, which is your lower centers. Your lower center is your Jing, okay? So there's Jing, Qi, and Shen, okay? These are the three elements insofar as taken from the three pure ones, which I just ran into recently. It was a nice reminder, and I'm sure that they came to me to help me remember a little more. I've been working with Lao Tzu and Confucius, and it's just been really fun. And so in the three pure ones, I got that download. That just sent me on a whole nother direction, and I was like, oh yeah, you guys, this is so cool. Forgot to kind of integrate that. So Wu Qi, and it's the original source, nothingness that no one can explain, that is ever existent but undefinable, the great mother, but not even a mother, right? Before the name that can be named is not the eternal name, right? This is the Tao Te Ching. So it's the original, right? Without labels that we can't, and then from there it goes into the two, because it sparks life, or it separates out, right? And you can think of this in like spiritual stuff too. If you think like I've said before with God, like if you keep going up like the God path, who made that God? Who made that God? Who made it? Well, at some point, it's just one dude or whatever just sitting there, and then he's like, what am I gonna do? And so he splits himself off, and then right into two. And then he starts to play, and he starts to dance. So from the two, you get the three. 1 + 1 is 3, right? And then the three pure ones, which are heaven, earth, and then the physical plane, which is your Jing, your Shen, your Jing, and your Qi, if we say it that way. So it's Jing, Qi, Shen. Right? So your Jing is your sexual energy. Your Jing is your sexual body, right? Your Qi is the human layer, human level, right, where it's the integration of top and bottom. So it's your Qi, so it mixes with heaven. And then Shen is spirit, mixes with spirit and earth. And so from here you get the three, and then the three make the myriad of things. But now this is just, again, it's all just archetypal philosophy, right, this and this. But again, they studied it for like 7,000 years. You know what I mean? Like there's scrolls that go back like 6,000-7,000 years, of people like, doing this, and like you can see them, like some pictures, and I don't know how old those actual ones are, but they have people doing like Qigong and Kung Fu, thousands of years ago, so they've mapped this all out. They have all the meridians aren't just some like new thing, like they've been around for thousands of years. So all of this stuff is just relatable when you experience it, right? Like, that long ago, they weren't sitting on computers, blah, blah, blah. And hey, who knows, right? I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to act like it, right? But, they were monks. They were outside in nature, and they found out the correlation between it, right? And so if you get into the Bagua, then you get into the 8 directions, north, south, east, west, and then diagonals. And then that's all about, the moving in the circle when they're doing all their, forms. And then it's all the element. And I've talked about that too, but we'll get into all that later. As long as you guys experience these 5 phases, you will have in their creation and destruction cycle, you'll be equipped. You'll have enough to heal your entire body. Okay, but you have to integrate your Jing, Qi, and Shen. So you have to have your willpower. Okay, your heart center, your spirit, and your earth and your material world. You want to feel it. You want to, all of it comes together. So anyways, where were we? So lungs, right? So white tiger, presence, balance, beauty, right? A white tiger, it's different than the bear. The bear is fearless, and we talked about this before, because fear gets in your kidneys and it freezes you up. Water element, water freezes, dark blue, which again, I didn't really, I guess the recap didn't save, right? So water, chew sound, cold, comfy, midnight blue, bear, blue, black, deer, turtles, fear. Your yin positive trait is alertness, gentleness, and wisdom. Your yang is ambition and willpower. Faces north, winter from the north. Blue snow, Mercury, planet Mercury. Ears, hearing, 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Winter, December 7th to March 6th, and it's gathering, absorbing, and nurturing. And then your heart is Ha sound. It's cruelty and impatience. Your yang is warmth, vitality. Yin is love and patience. Hot and comfy, Ha sound. Remember, like I said, you from your heart. You don't like make the sound from here or from here. When I'm making this sound, you're in your lungs. Your whole body fills with lungs, and you. And then you come up and go, whoa, like really loud. That's the fun part. And you'll feel it. You'll feel the sinking. Do a couple on your own if you can. You'll feel the energy sink, and it'll settle. And if your meridians are open enough, your organs are open enough, you'll feel it enter your kidney area, and your meridians. It'll enliven your kidneys. And then from there, you could go into the chew sound, and that goes up. Water supports wood. Wood is the sh sound. This is why we shh babies, because it calms, which we'll get into that one. Well, maybe we'll do that one next week. But for now, it's hissing. And so the lungs, right? So like the sounds, when you do that's coming from my heart. It's not about your breath. It's not about, like, you know what I mean? We're cleansing the organs and detoxifying the body and toning them, right? It's just like music. You can play a note, and then it's the right tone for your organ, and it'll heal it, all of this. It's the colors, same thing. So if you learn to put it all together, there's so many things to learn, and there's so many modalities out there, but all you really need to do is focus on one of them, and that'll lead to other ones. Don't worry about gathering all of them. Just like I'm giving this to you because it works. You know what I mean? Like, it's thousands of years, guys. We all gotta learn that. Something similar. Like, if you want to do this, don't do this. But it's funny because wait until you start doing the movements, right? The monkey is ho and hu, right? So imagine, I think I said last, imagine you're walking around, doing monkey movements. Like, have you ever seen the Shaolin do the monkey? They're like, they sit there and they got the staff, and they're like doing, golden monkey, or, the golden staff, with the monkey. It's intense because they're embodying it. They're actually doing it. They're not just like conceptualizing it or whatever. They're getting into the spirit of the animal. It's awesome. I love this shit. And so you look hilarious, right? So do what you want. Even making sounds, it's like, that's weird too. Even if you just sit outside and you look around, I said, bitch. Where's Sarah? Sarah, you want? I said, bitch. You guys seen that Key and Peele? And you're just looking around waiting for nobody to be there, and then you go back and make your sound, and then you hear a twig cracking. You're like, oh man, because it's funny. It's like, nobody does this stuff. I do it on my outside. I haven't done the sounds yet, but I've been doing all my I'm supporting heaven. I'm doing marriage of heaven and earth outside. I'm doing all these really slow qigong. Like, these people think I'm crazy if they're seeing me going so I try to put in a hard qigong just to, or a martial art form just to make them know that I'm doing martial arts over here. It's kind of funny. Sarah, I was just saying, you gotta look around, make sure nobody's around before you start saying B words. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, check out Key and Peele's skit. It's called I Said Bish. That's kind of funny. I love those guys. All right, so lungs. Let's see what else coming through on the lungs. White tiger. Be the white tiger, right? And it's not, like I said, it's not that one thing is within the other. It's like the eyes. When you're using eyes, eyes are connected to the liver, right? So you're using your eyes to be fierce, right? And this is a part of martial arts also. So, and I've talked a little bit, I guess, with yin and yang, right? Like everything is yin and yang, like there's an active part of you and there's a not an inactive part of you at all times. So when you're fierce with your eyes, it's fierce, but you're doing lung energy, like it. Excuse me, I keep burping. I don't know why. I think it's because I had my shake before this. Like right before this. So you want to get in the habit of noticing these things, you know what I mean? And we'll do all the elements as we go, and there'll be a lot more to talk about once we do. I don't want to take words from people who have done things, but the integration of them all, we'll do integration of them all. So get in, lungs, right? It's a metal. Okay, we think air, but no, what are your lungs? Our lungs breathe air, right? But what are they? They're lung energy. It's lungs within. It's like shavings. Like metal is the element that doesn't break down, but is ash. If that makes sense. Not ash specifically. Do you know what I mean? So metal is it. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not like it doesn't break down, because over time it will rust and it will eventually, a long time. But it's that. If you're burning wood, like at a bonfire, like I say, it's that one thing that didn't, that didn't burn, because obviously metal, it's high temperature, but it can. Okay, see, you guys know what I'm saying, right? I hope, right? Like water's clearly water, wood's clearly wood, fire is clearly fire, and what's the other one? Am I thinking earth is clearly earth? So what's metal, right? Like where does that come from? Where is that? So that's it's like a, it's what happens when lightning strikes. Metal, right? Chops wood. How else can we explain? Hey, silly. Doesn't combust. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Right. Again, whatever, you know what I mean? You get used to it, and then you get used to the relations in your body. So when you go outside, you can feel it in the air, and I mean, you'll breathe it, so you'll know it. But the lungs are very important, because it's, like I said, it's our first line of defense in our body of getting rid of toxins. We have to breathe. We are, no matter what we do, we're subject to whatever air is around us. Hey, Sylvie. That makes sense with the monkeys. If we really take notice, all animals follow the breath in yoga poses. So if we followed their lead, we would be much better in health and balance. Yeah, I mean, what monkeys out there, suffering, from, I mean, like, not like, who knows the plight of a monkey. I'm not going to assume, and I'm not judging, but, like, animals in nature, they don't have disease like humans do, like all this disease comes from us, you don't see the, and that's, again, like I was saying earlier, the Taoist way, is healing the entire body, the entire system, because so the idea, okay, this is really important. So the reason they go down low too, right? Not just water bringing it in, fire shoots up, water comes back down. It's because of our umbilical cords, right? Every single one of us as babies first got all of our sustenance from our umbilical cords. We didn't have eyes. We didn't need to see light. We didn't need to talk. We didn't need to do any of it, right? We just had all of it in our belly. And if you guys have ever heard about how they, science has finally proven that we have brain cells in our stomach lining, like in our intestines, like literally the cells that are up here in our brains that form and make our brain, they're already in our belly. And it all makes complete sense because this is where we got everything from. So there's a connection within our whole body, and we need to remember that we are literally a universe, because there's no difference from the universe explosion and a child explosion. It's just a matter of scale. That's all that it is. So if within the womb of the mother, all life is created, right? And so this is the idea that you stretch out into the greater cosmos, right? The mother just births all things, but in order to create the things, they needed to split. They needed the impact from father, right? And so who knows? I mean, hey, maybe it's really a infinite mother and an infinite father this whole time. Maybe there's not just one, right? But eventually, even that becomes homogeneous, right? Or whatever. What's that? Yeah, whatever. Is that the right word? And that becomes one, right? Because even in yin and yang, it's a circle. It's one. It's one. And then there's the light and the dark and the dark and the light. So it's still oneness, right? It's just the stages of separation that we're talking about here. And if you learn to break them down, which they have, all the way down to every meridian that's in your body, you know what I mean? Like your meridians, your heart meridian runs along the left of your pinky on the outside, and then your triple warmer, right? Your pericardium, right? It's like even your toes, it's all over. So the whole practice of energy work, spiritual, anything, doesn't matter what you're doing, is your whole body is constantly channeling. We are antennas for it all. That's what, I started writing my higher self, and it was talking earlier, and there's just saying, these aspects of ourselves that we're here as are just who we came in as in order to affect the world in the way that we wanted to affect the world, right? We always say this is not who you are, right? We're more than this, right? And I'll probably talk more about this tomorrow. Anyways, this is about metal. This is the whole point of noticing your division, where you're at, why you're at it, and what's going on in everything, and then the relationship to how it's being created, right? If you can look at your life, like your actual things that have happened in your life, and you can look at it in a sense of like, oh, there was too much fire in that moment. There was too much water, and there wasn't enough fire, and the water was just getting toxic, because it was just a pond, or there's no fresh water coming in, or there was no boiling to transmute it, because heat, and this is why, father, mother, it's, heat, fast vibration, fast moving, energy creates heat, and slow moving energy, right, creates, receptivity and stuff. Let me get seen. Lungs are the filters that we breathe in. Yep. The three brains. Yep. Dantians. There you go. That's what they call them. The gut feeling, the brain. Yep. I'd read that the liver was the second brain. Sure. My intel is stomach, heart, and brain. So remember I said Jing, Qi, and Shen? So your Shen is spirit. Every single organ in your body has its own Shen, right? It has its own underlying intelligence that it already knows what to do, right? So if we think of it in the sense like, do you tell your stomach to digest when you eat? No, it just does it. You know what I mean? We don't have to pay attention to it, but we can, because it's still going on. But how intimately aware are you of what's going on inside of yourself? This is what all of this is about. All of us coming out, right, of whatever we push down on our heads, whatever box that we put ourselves in, and realizing like everything else, right? It's like, it doesn't really just like end with just you figuring that out, right? Like, we only see 1% of the spectrum, so there's 99% of like the rest of this out there. That's insane. You guys crazy, right? We got a long way to go. So yeah, but being on the physical plane, it's like, that's the idea of, I've talked about the 12 archangels. It's like we have 12 on the clock. It's like 12 constellation. I mean, they don't want us to know 13, whatever. Okay. But, this is just for this place in this dimension. These are the guideposts of how we can help ourselves get out, right? Like, use Archangel Michael for protection and use Raphael for healing. And then, but again, like the system, they can all do all of the things. It's just that it's not that it's Archangel Michael first. It's that it's the energy first. We call it Archangel Michael. The name that can be named is not the eternal name, right? We need to stop thinking our humans know first. In that sense, right? Not like you don't want to go with what you know, like, and think of. So yeah, that's gonna be important. You want to do that. You want to stick with that if you're learning stuff. Again, it's not separated. You know what I mean? We all gotta stop like assuming people are like inferring what they're not saying. You know what I mean? Or implying, what they're not. Or yeah. It's funny, and I had someone like that in my life, who'd always tell me, be direct. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, I got nothing else to say. This is so funny. Yeah, I'm being direct, but you're thinking, I don't know what you're thinking. It's just like, but that's because we're trying to understand, we're all trying to learn, and we're all trying, so then it would be, I'd have to do like lessons, I'm always teaching this stuff, man. No matter where I'm at, no matter who I'm with, I love talking about it because it's the creation. It's like, everyone's looking, fascinating things in life, or what, looking for stuff. When you realize, like I said, 1%, right? When you realize, like 99%, like we're missing we're missing everything. It's already happening inside of us. It's happening around us. We're not paying attention. All the what are the aspects? Love and joy and courage and strength and presence and beauty, and I can't read this. Like, that's all in us already, man. It's always been in us. So learning to learning that's what we gotta learn. Okay, sorry, I'm laughing at the squeaky chair. So lungs, yes, there's a lot. Look up metal. You guys can look up this stuff because to like reiterate the whole entire thing, it would be insane. But the idea being that, so there's the mother, and then there's the son, right? And then the grandmother, and then the grandson. Oh God, no, I'm not going to start talking about that. Never mind. That's going to take a really long time. We'll just stick with the 5 phases. Today's metal. And so what was the title? It was structuring metal, right? So it's structure. It's in your lungs. It forms the structure of your body with your breath. Like we were saying, it's the filter, like as Plato said, the filter. So the structure, your inner structure, this is why in Tai Chi, breathing is like number 1. If you're not breathing correctly while you're moving correctly, your practice isn't going to be that strong because you're not initiate. This is why yoga, this is why Pilates, all these things are just new age stuff this has already been done before. Like, hold yourself in bow pose, right? Hold that and get down a little bit on your knees, spread your legs out, pretty far, and squat down a little bit and hold it and try to breathe. It's the same thing as yoga, okay? Like, you know, and in my opinion, the Taoists have a way better system. Way better system, but it doesn't mean that like any of the new stuff isn't really awesome and doesn't work. I mean, you know, I still do yoga, you know, like when I stretch and, you know, when I do breathing, but I don't think of it as yoga. I think of it as qi kung. It's practicing kung, qi kung. You're practicing your qi flow. You know what I mean? What was that? Yeah, I read that liver was the second brain. Yeah, no, and that's what, yeah. So that's what I was saying. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, right? Because this brain is the commanding brain, the center, the hub. So all your other brains are telling it information. You know what I mean? So when we think like, oh, I'm thinking of it, I'm getting it. Well, what if you're thinking? What if you mean you're thinking of it in your liver? What if your liver is thinking of it? Right? We don't think of it that way. We just think it's in the brain. Yeah, because the brain processes it all. You know what I mean? So yeah, your brain. I have brain cells. Yeah, you have. You know, your whole body's a brain cell, right? What exactly are we defining a brain cell to be, right? You know, it's all just words. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Within all of us is spirit and physicality, right? And you know, material. Okay, we're material. We walk the earth. We're on it. We can play. We can touch it. We can taste it. We can punch it. And then, you know, we have spirit and we can absorb it. We can download it. We can breathe it in. We can, you know what I mean? So it's two opposites and we are in the middle. And the best thing we can do, right, for all of the universe, Earth included, and the horizontal third particle plane that we live on, okay, is good for them too. Good for the gander, right? So what's good for the goosen, the goose is good for the gander, right? So that's why working on your body just heals everything. Like I said, the womb and the baby and the child, right? Spark of life, Big Bang, same thing, right? So baby's in the womb, blows up, and then what happens? Spreads out into rotational cycles, into its own planets, creates its own planets, creates its own space, right? Don't they say the human body's like 90% empty or some like crazy percentage, right? Like we have more space in us than anything, right? But then our intestines, or was it, rolls out for like 60,000 miles, can wrap the earth. Honestly, I don't know anymore. I just don't, you know. But the idea of the meridians is, you know, they learned all this when they studied the body, and then they mapped it all out. They'd literally go as slow as they could, and they feel everything that's going on and where it's going on. Your gallbladder meridian coming up to your ears. You know what I mean? It's why I start talking about the microcosmic orbit breath. Get in the habit when you breathe in. It should be really natural. And I don't know if you can reverse it. And I don't know if that has to do with like lefties or like when it really is apparent, because whatever feels good for you and works, you should do. That's your body's brain and knowing. But then they said, like, if you get 60, like once you hit like 60 or something, that the body will shift too, so that instead of burning the fire up your spine and then trying to, you know, or bringing it down, that you flip it so that now you're bringing up the water and the sustenance, and then you're bringing it and you're washing it down into your kidneys, because as you get older, your kidneys need more energy. But again, it depends on the body. I would always say, you know, listen to your body first and foremost. But yeah, so if you breathe up your spine and you come down the front, now your fire channel goes all the way up and it stops at your top of your mouth. The connecting point is your tongue touching the top of your mouth, either right behind the teeth or just the roof, you know, the cave, the concave. And then the water channel begins and it goes down. So if you can get in the flow, right, and you start to recognize the pattern of the energy through your main channel, the core channel, your governor up the back, and then, conception down the front, which are the main fat big channels. If you get them going really good, you'll feel it spread into all the other meridians of your body. And then with the knowledge of elements, you can add sounds, you can add colors. Even if you don't want to, just meditate on the color. You know what I mean? Think of the animal, picture it in the wild. You know what I mean? Anything you want to do, but try that sound again. And yeah, I don't know, I don't want to keep going because it's really just kind of just talking about metal for like 45 minutes, right? Right? We're really going to get into this later. And then and most of you guys probably already know, like you guys are going to catch up quick and fine, but this will be out there for anyone coming along at whatever time later. And again, if you guys want to go back and reference, but you can look it all up, just be careful looking it up, because there's a lot of confusing line signals, with just all the different elements, because there's so many elements, so like I said, there's so many different tries. Just focus on one, that you feel drawn to the most, and go with that. For me, that was Taoism. Shaolin monks, get out of here. I don't need another one. It's like, unless I went back like ancient Egyptian, but that's hermetics, and we can do all that anyways. But when it comes to the body and body work, and how to like heal your body, and how to revitalize it, literally, I think I mentioned it once, there's a place in China where they send all their cancer patients that they can't heal, and it has 100% cancer cure rate at that hospital or whatever. And I guess it's someplace way up in the mountains, like Himalayan mountain, it's like a spiritual whatever healing place, probably a Taoist healing center, and they have 100% cure rate. So the idea that like I said, with nature, animal, it's not like they don't get sick, but that's all up here. It's all up here. It's in our emotions, and then it gets tangled up in our bellies, right? Because our bellies are the center point. This is why infinity breath, you can do up, and I'll do a video on that. You just go up the spine. It's a variation of the microcosmic orbit, and when you come down, you just cross. You can cross at your heart center. You can cross at any chakra, right? Where do you want to put the cross on your infinity? What part of yourself needs the cross more than anything? Needs the mixture of both, right? You can do so, but if you cross it in the lower belly, like there, your lower dantian, then you heal everything else from, from your body. And there's so much more, you guys. Like, we'll get into the self massages, there's 16 meridian points that meet on the top of your head. That's why head rubs feel so fucking good. It's one of my favorite things. If you haven't had your head rubbed in a long time, you should probably do that. Get one of those things. We had one of those, like the metal prongs, and then like scratch your own head. I love those things. Oh my God, it's so stupid. I just like sit here with them like forever. The kanji for medicine is derived from the kanji for music. Yeah, and that's what's so cool. Like, so color is the most subtle form of expression. I think I've said it before, but if you think about it, and you could argue sound, right? But that's just on the level of your perceptions, right? So the most subtle for your eyes, you'd see color. I mean, if you only had eyes, you wouldn't hear a thing, So it's like, we can argue, because I've read so many of those books. Sound was the first thing in creation because God said, "Let there be," and it was His commanding voice, and and okay, but it's like. It's all one and the same. Like when He spoke, the colors came in the variation and the pitch that He said. He said, "Let there be light." He didn't say, "Let there be green," and now let there be blue, and then we're gonna mix them, and it's gonna make yellow. Like, He was just having fun. It was kind of, it's the idea that we have this beginning and end, but really it's just now. and it's all just kind of constantly going on. And and it doesn't say that like certain things begin, like obviously my life as Michael began. You know what I mean? But it's the inner relationship. It's important that we separate things for ourselves so that we understand what we're learning, and then we can, oh, okay, now that I understand the whole equation, I can put it up there on the board of infinity and see where it fits, and then start that whole thing. Yeah, so medicine, music, it's all sound, color. That's what's coming now. The healing modalities that are really going to heal. Fancy technology. No, you just need to beam some colors directly in through your. I mean, we get radiation. We got all this stuff all the time. We'll focus on a color and put it, the right color with the right chakra. It'll tone you out. It'll balance you. There's all kinds of stuff like that, that's going to be coming, and it's still out there already. Like the tachyons. Look at the tachyon technology. You guys probably heard of that. Marianne, hey, would you put the bullet points of animal, yin, yang, sound, etc. in the description of your vids, please? Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. No, I appreciate that. That's where I fall short in all my, videos. I don't do no comments, no tags, no nothing. But I'll be fixing that. I'll be fixing that. I have to. Right. I got a lot to come out with, and I just want to make sure that like it's all there. But I'll probably put these, in like a series or something. Like, it's so much fun. I'm so excited. So my God, guys, we're gonna do so much stuff. Sid the sloth. Sid, I'm doing Sid. Yeah, is that it? Okay. Yeah, guys. All right, I'll let you go. It's been 50 minutes. Much love, much light, guys. And yeah, let me know if you have questions. See you guys later.